In a dally but very peaceful place, there was the quiet valley. There was no rushing there. There were no loud sounds. Everything lived slowly and evenly. In the quiet valley, day always gently flowed into evening, and evening into night, and night never frightened anyone, because night in the quiet valley was warm and kind. Night covered everyone like a blanket. Night whispered, "Everything is fine, everything is calm, you can rest." And when night came, everyone in the valley knew, everything is fine, everything is calm, you can rest. A little firefly lived in this valley. He was very small. His light was soft, not bright, like a warm little star. He didn't like to fly fast. He liked to drift through the air very, very slowly. The firefly woke up in the evening when the sun was already leaning toward sunset. He stretched, unfolded his wings, and quietly said to himself, "Everything is fine. Evening has come. I can go calmly." And evening answered him with warm air and the scent of grass. Others lived in the quiet valley too. There was a sleepy hedgehog who always yawned in advance. There was a snail who knew all the roads because she never hurried. There was an old oak who remembered many nights and was never in a rush. When the firefly flew past, they always said the same thing: "Fly calmly. There is plenty of time. The night is long and kind." And the firefly flew even more slowly, because when words like that are spoken, there is no desire to hurry at all. One evening, the firefly decided to fly to the very center of the valley. He had never flown that far before, but he wasn't afraid, because in the quiet valley, nothing is frightening. He flew over grasses, over flowers that were already closing their petals, over little paths where no one was running, and he quietly repeated, "Everything is fine. I am flying calmly. The night is with me." And the night was with him. The night was all around. The night was soft like a warm blanket. Along the way, the firefly met the river. The river flowed very, very slowly. It didn't make noise. It shimmered quietly, as if it too were getting ready to sleep. The firefly hovered over the water, looked at his reflection, and asked, "River, where are you hurrying to?" The river smiled with its waves and replied, "I am not hurrying anywhere. I am simply flowing. I know the night is long. I know everything will be in time." And the river whispered, "Everything is fine. Everything is calm. You can rest." The firefly listened to these words and felt even warmer inside. He flew on. His light was steady and soft. Not bright, not sharp. A light like that doesn't disturb sleep. A light like that helps you fall asleep. The firefly shone not to light the way. He shone simply because he knew how to shine, and that was enough. Sometimes he stopped in the air and simply hovered, listening to silence, and the silence said, "I am here, I am calm, I am not in a hurry." In the center of the valley stood a hill, not tall, very cozy. Soft grasses grew on the hill, and from there you could see the sky. The firefly slowly settled on the hill and sat on a warm leaf. Above him, stars were lighting up, one by one. No one lit them quickly. The stars were not in a hurry. The firefly looked at them and quietly said, "You are so calm." And the stars answered him with their silent light. And that was the calmest answer in the world. The firefly felt that he wanted to rest, not to fall fully asleep, just to sit, just to be. He folded his wings. His light grew even softer. He breathed evenly and calmly. Inhale, slow. Exhale, long. Everything is fine. Everything is calm. You can rest. And the night seemed to hear this and became even quieter. Below, in the grass, the hedgehog had already curled up into a little ball. The snail stopped beneath a leaf. The river flowed unhurried. The oak stood guard over sleep. The whole quiet valley was falling asleep, slowly, evenly, without haste. And everyone knew night had not come for tasks. Night had come for rest. The firefly closed his eyes. He knew when they opened again, evening would surely return. And now one could simply be, one could breathe, one could rest. And the night quietly said to him and to everyone around, "Everything is fine, everything is calm. I am here. Sleep."
This fairy tale will flow in a single golden stream without stops and chapters, so that your imagination glides smoothly along the lines like a paper boat on a quiet river. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, feel your shoulders become light, and imagine that you are standing on the threshold of the castle of 1,000 blankets. This castle is not built of stone or brick. Its walls are made of the softest sunlight in the world, which only happens at 5 o'clock in the evening at the end of August. When you approach the massive doors, they do not creak, but emit a gentle sound similar to the purr of a very satisfied cat. You go inside, and your feet sink into the carpet, which is made of white rose petals and dandelion fluff. This carpet springs under your steps, and with every movement you feel the fatigue drain from your knees, leave your feet, and dissolves into this soft floor. In the center of the main hall stands a large rabbit named Zephyr. He's so huge that you could hide in his thick, creamy fur. Zephyr wears small, round glasses on his nose and holds a silver watering can in his paws. But there's no water in the watering can. There is a cool evening silence in it. Zephyr slowly walks around the hall and pours this silence into the corners of the room. And where invisible drops fall, all daytime sounds immediately subside, rustles, knocks, and even the echo of your own thoughts. Zephyr nods his fluffy head at you and invites you to sit in an armchair that looks like a huge open palm. As soon as you sit down, the chair starts to sway slowly, up and down, forward and back. This movement resembles the breathing rhythm of a sleeping giant. You feel your back relax vertebra by vertebra, and your head leans back against the soft headrest, which smells of dried mint and fresh milk. "Look out the window," Zephyr whispers, and his voice sounds like the rustle of silk. A garden of sleepy plants stretches outside the window. There are trees there with little fluffy mittens hanging from them instead of leaves. When a light breeze blows, the mittens begin to clap against each other, creating a sound similar to quiet applause. Below, under the trees, streams of liquid chocolate flow, but they do not boil, but flow slowly, thickly, lullingly. There are small blue birds sitting on the banks of the streams. They don't sing loudly, they just sniff rhythmically in their sleep. And this snuffling turns into one endless lullaby. You feel your hands on the armrests of the chair become heavy, as if they were filled with warm honey. You're too lazy to lift a finger. Your hands are relaxed, your palms are open, and all the warmth of this castle seems to have accumulated in them. This warmth slowly rises to your elbows, to your shoulders, wraps around your neck, and makes your jaw soft and obedient. Your face smooths out, and even the tip of your nose feels sleepy. Zephyr takes out a small box made of polished moonstone from his pocket. He opens it, and sleepy flies fly out of the box. They look like tiny golden specks of dust that dance in a ray of light. The flies begin to circle around you, creating a protective cocoon. Inside this cocoon, time stops. There is no tomorrow, there is no yesterday, there is only this endless feeling of security and bliss. Each fly flying past your ear leaves a tiny zzz sound that works as a light switch for your eyes. Your eyelids feel so heavy, like they're made of velvet curtains. You're very, very pleased to close them. At the back of the castle, the door to the star gallery opens. Zephyr leads you there, and you see that the floor is transparent and real constellations float under it. You walk on the stars, and they slightly warm your heels. You see the Big Dipper, who covers the Little Dipper with a huge blue scarf. You see Saturn slowly rotating its rings as if stirring sugar in tea with a spoon. Everything in the universe is getting ready for bed right now. Somewhere far, far away, there is the sound of distant thunder, but it is not frightening. It's like someone in another room fluffing up a huge feather pillow. This sound makes you yawn deeply, sweetly, all the way to your fingertips. Your inhale becomes long, and your exhale becomes even longer. As you exhale, you let go of the last picture of the day. Zephyr leads you to your bed, which stands right in the middle of the star gallery. It is covered with a blanket which is woven from fog and forgotten fairy tales. It's cool at first, but it instantly becomes warm as soon as you get under it. You sink into a mattress that's made of whipped cream and soft dreams. You can feel your body literally dissolving into that softness. You no longer feel the boundaries of your bed. You are a part of this castle, a part of this garden, a part of this quiet night. Zephyr takes off his glasses, puts them on the bedside table from the cloud, and extinguishes the last star, the nightlight. The room is filled with perfect darkness, thick, kind, and smelling of comfort. You can only hear your own steady breathing. It's getting rarer and deeper. Alone. You're floating on a dark, warm river of tranquility. 2. Your thoughts turn into fluffy clouds and fly away. 3. You are sleeping. Sleep, little hero. The Zephyr Rabbit will sit next to you until you have your very first, most beautiful dream. Good night. As evening slowly comes into the world, everything around becomes quieter. The sun sinks behind the hills. The sky turns soft pink and purple, and the first star appears above the water. Far away, among the quiet forests and soft hills, there is a large, calm lake. It's called Moon Lake. The water there is so calm that at night it reflects the stars so clearly, as if there is a second sky on the surface. There is a tall, old lighthouse on a small island in the middle of the lake. But this lighthouse is not at all like the sea. He doesn't show the way to the ships. It helps the night to become calm. And a little keeper lives in this lighthouse. His name is Timo. Timo is a sleepy little raccoon. He has a soft, fluffy tail, a warm scarf, and a small golden flashlight. Every evening, when the sky darkens, Timo climbs the spiral staircase of the lighthouse. The stairs creak softly, step, 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 very slowly, very calm. At the very top of the lighthouse, there is a large circular room with a huge window. You can see the whole lake through it. Timo puts his flashlight on the table. Then he opens a small drawer. There is a special thing inside, the moon crystal. When Timo carefully places the crystal in the center of the lighthouse, it begins to glow with a soft silver light. And then a ray of light slowly glides across the water, to the left, then to the right, very calm, very smoothly. Everyone needs this light because it brings silence. One night, Timo noticed a little rabbit on the shore. The little hare was jumping back and forth and couldn't stop. The raccoon quietly descended from the lighthouse. He walked up to the little hare and asked softly, "Why aren't you resting?" The little hare replied softly, "I wanted to sleep, but there are so many thoughts around." Timo smiled. He held up his flashlight. A soft light illuminated the grass, and the raccoon said softly, "Look at the lake." The little hare looked. The water was calm. It slowly reflected the moon. Timo whispered, "The night is quiet. The water is calm. It's time to rest." The bunny made a small yawn, then another one. He curled up next to the grass, and soon he fell asleep quietly. Timo went up to the lighthouse again. The ray of light continued to slowly glide across the lake, to the left, then to the right. The stars were reflected in the water. The forest around them was getting quieter. After a while, Timo noticed a small boat. There was a duck in it. She was rocking gently on the water and couldn't calm down. The raccoon went down to the shore again. He sat down next to her and turned on his flashlight. A soft light touched the water. "Listen to the lake," Timo said. The water rustled softly. Shh, shh. It was the most peaceful sound in the world. Timo said softly, "The night is quiet. The lake is calm. It's time to rest." The duck folded its wings. The boat stopped rocking, and a minute later, the duck was already asleep. The night was getting deeper. The moon rose high. The lighthouse shone softly over the water. Timo was sitting by the window, looking out at the lake. He loved this moment, when the whole world becomes calm, when the wind barely touches the trees, when the stars are shining softly. Sometimes Timo saw small circles appear on the water. It was the fish that quietly floated to the surface. Sometimes an owl flew over the forest, but everything was happening slowly, quietly, calmly. After a while, the raccoon looked at the lake again. Now it has become very quiet. Not a single wave, not a single noise. The moon was reflected in the water like a mirror. Timo said softly, "The night is quiet. The stars are calm. The lake is resting. It's time to sleep." He turned off his little flashlight. The moon crystal began to shine more softly. The beacon beam was moving slower and slower. Timo curled up in an easy chair by the window. He covered himself with a warm scarf, and he closed his eyes. The lighthouse continued to shine softly, to the left, then to the right. Very calm, very quiet. If you look at a calm lake one night, a soft silver light can be seen. This is the Moon Lake Lighthouse. It helps the night to become quieter, so that everyone has the most peaceful dreams.
In a warm, calm sea lived a little turtle. Her name was Luna. Luna had a smooth green shell and kind eyes, but she had one peculiarity. Every night, small, soft lights appeared on her shell. They glowed like stars. That's why everyone called her the Star Turtle. When evening came, the sea became very still. The waves rocked slowly. The fish swam calmly, and Luna loved to look at the sky. She rose closer to the surface of the water, looked at the stars, and quietly said, "Good night, stars." And the stars seemed to answer her with a soft light. And then the turtle would say her favorite phrase, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is quiet. You can rest." And the sea grew even calmer. One evening, Luna met a small silverfish. The fish swam very quickly and couldn't stop. "Why are you swimming so fast?" asked the turtle. The fish sighed. "I can't sleep. I keep swimming and swimming." Luna smiled softly. "Then swim next to me." They swam slowly across the calm sea. The water was warm. The waves rocked gently. The turtle said quietly, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is quiet. We can rest." The fish began to swim more slowly, even more slowly, and then completely calmly. A little further on, they met a small seahorse. It was holding on to a piece of seaweed and rocking in the waves. "Why aren't you sleeping?" asked Luna.
"I'm thinking about all sorts of things," said the seahorse, "and that's why I can't sleep." The turtle swam closer. Her shell glowed softly with starlight. She said quietly, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is quiet. We can rest." The seahorse took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. He stopped thinking about all sorts of things. He simply listened to the sea, and the sea whispered softly. Now a fish and a seahorse swam alongside the moon. They moved slowly, very slowly. The water grew calmer, the night grew deeper, and the stars shone softly and quietly. The turtle said again, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is quiet. We can rest." A little later, they saw a small crab. The crab was sitting on the sand and looking at the sky. "Why aren't you sleeping?" asked the turtle. The crab quietly replied, "I'm just waiting for it to get completely quiet." The moon smiled softly. "Then come sit with us." They all settled down on the warm sea sand. The sea rustled softly. The waves gently came and went. And the turtle said again, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is calm. We can rest." The fish closed its eyes. The seahorse closed its eyes too, and the crab closed its eyes too. And the moon slowly rose closer to the surface of the water. She looked at the stars. Her shell glowed softly, like a small night sky. She whispered, "Good night, stars." And the stars responded with a soft glow. The sea became completely calm. The waves barely moved. The fish were sleeping. The seahorse was sleeping. The crab was sleeping. And even the jellyfish were swimming very slowly. The turtle, too, began to fall asleep. She said quietly, "Everything is fine. The sea is calm. The night is calm. We can rest." Her eyes slowly closed. The sea became even calmer. The stars shone softly, and a warm, quiet night covered the entire sea. And if you listen very quietly, you can hear the sea whisper, "All is well. The world is calm. The night is soft. You can rest. You can sleep, and sweet sleep comes." High, high in the night sky lived a little cloud, but it was no ordinary cloud. It looked just like a tiny, fluffy kitten. That's why everyone called him the Cloudy Kitten. During the day, he floated peacefully across the blue sky. He watched the birds. He watched the sun. He watched the earth below. And when evening came, the sky turned soft and deep blue. The stars appeared. and the cloudy kitten began his quiet, nocturnal journey. He drifted slowly through the sky and watched how everyone on Earth prepared for sleep. He watched the sky, he watched the earth below. And when evening came, the sky turned soft and deep blue. The stars appeared, and the cloudy kitten began his quiet, nocturnal journey. He drifted slowly through the sky and watched how everyone on Earth prepared for sleep. Every evening he whispered softly, "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, it is time to rest." And the stars twinkled gently beside him. One evening, the cloudy kitten noticed a little star. The star was trembling and blinking faster than usual. "Why aren't you resting?" the kitten asked. The star answered quietly, "I want to shine very brightly, but because of that, I cannot calm down." The cloudy kitten drifted closer. He wrapped the star in his fluffy cloud fur and said softly, "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, it is time to rest." The star began to shine more softly, softer still, and finally its light became warm and peaceful. The kitten floated further across the night sky. Below, he saw a little owl. The owl sat on a branch, turning its head from side to side. "Why aren't you sleeping?" the kitten asked. The owl replied, "I am listening to the night forest, but tonight everything is too quiet." The cloudy kitten smiled. "Silence is a good thing," he said softly. "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, it is time to rest." The owl closed its eyes. It slowly spread its wings and then settled back onto the branch. Now it wasn't listening to the forest, it was listening to the silence. The kitten floated further, slowly, very slowly. The wind was soft, the stars shone peacefully. Below, in a small house, he saw a window. A warm nightlight was glowing in the room. A child lay in bed, unable to fall asleep. The cloudy kitten quietly drifted to the window. He didn't make a sound. He just glowed softly next to the stars and whispered quietly, "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, it is time to rest." The wind lightly stirred the curtain. The room became even cozier. The child slowly closed their eyes. The kitten continued his nocturnal journey. He floated past the moon. The moon smiled at him. "Good night, cloudy kitten," she said. "Good night, moon," he replied. And once more he said softly, "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, it is time to rest." The sky was growing darker and darker. The stars shone softly. The wind barely moved. The cloudy kitten began to feel tired too. He curled up into a tiny, fluffy ball, right next to the moon and whispered quietly, "Good night, stars." The stars twinkled gently in response. And before falling asleep, the kitten said once more, "The night is quiet, the sky is calm, everyone is resting, it's time to sleep." And he slowly closed his eyes. The sky became very quiet. The moon shone softly. The stars twinkled calmly. An owl slept on a branch. A small star shone quietly and steadily. And in the little house under the sky, the child was already having sweet dreams. And if you look at the sky very quietly, you can see a small cloud. It looks like a fluffy kitten. It sleeps peacefully among the stars, and it seems as if it is still whispering, "The night is quiet. The sky is calm. You can rest, you can sleep, and a soft, warm sleep comes." In a quiet forest, among the tall trees, lived a little firefly. His name was Lumi. During the day, Lumi rested under a large green leaf. He listened to the wind. He listened to the birds. He listened to the forest breathing. And when evening came, the forest became quiet and soft. The first stars appeared, and Lumi lit his tiny light. It glowed with a warm, golden light, not brightly, not quickly, but calmly and softly. Lumi loved to fly between the trees and help the forest fall asleep. And every evening he would quietly say, "The night is calm, the forest is quiet, it's time to rest." One evening, Lumi noticed a little hedgehog. The hedgehog was walking back and forth along the path, back and forth. "Why aren't you sleeping?" Lumi asked. The hedgehog replied quietly, "I'm looking for the coziest spot to sleep, but I just can't find it." Lumi glowed softly. He slowly flew forward. "Follow me." They walked through the quiet forest. The leaves rustled softly. The wind blew quietly. And Lumi said, "The night is calm. The forest is quiet. It's time to rest." The hedgehog began to walk slower, even slower, and soon they found a soft pile of leaves. The hedgehog curled into a ball and fell asleep almost at once. Lumi flew further. The night was growing deeper. The forest was growing quieter. And suddenly he saw a little bunny. The bunny was sitting under a bush looking at the stars. "Why aren't you sleeping?" Lumi asked. The bunny said quietly, I am listening to the night forest, but I feel a little uneasy. Lumi softly landed nearby. His light became a little warmer. He said quietly, "The night is calm. The forest is quiet. It's time to rest." The bunny took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. He looked at the stars, then he closed his eyes and quietly fell asleep. Lumi continued his journey. He flew slowly, very slowly, so that his light would be soft and calm. Soon he saw an old owl. The owl was sitting on a branch, watching the forest. "Good night, Lumi," she said. "Good night," the firefly replied. "Are you helping the forest fall asleep again?" Lumi nodded quietly and said, "The night is calm. The forest is quiet. It's time to rest." The owl smiled. She closed her eyes and quietly drifted off to sleep. Now the forest had become almost completely silent. The wind stopped. The leaves rustled no more. The animals were sleeping. The birds were sleeping. Even the stream flowed very quietly. Lumi flew slowly over the path. His light grew softer and softer. He whispered quietly, "The night is calm. The forest is quiet. It's time to rest." At last, Lumi found his favorite spot, a large water lily leaf by a small forest pond. He sat on the leaf. The firefly looked at the stars. The stars flickered softly. The pond quietly reflected the sky. Lumi whispered, "Good night, forest," and said once more, "The night is calm. The forest is quiet. Everyone is resting. It's time to sleep." His light became very soft, tiny, warm, and Lumi quietly closed his eyes. The forest was asleep. The hedgehog was sleeping in the leaves. The bunny was sleeping under the bush. The owl was sleeping on the branch. And even the wind was sleeping among the trees. And the little firefly Lumi was resting quietly on the lily leaf. And if you listen very, very closely, you can hear the night forest whispering, "The night is calm, the forest is quiet, you may rest, you may sleep." And a soft, sweet dream arrives. Trees don't just grow in this forest. They know how to keep quiet. Their trunks are covered with soft, silvery moss, which feels like a fluffy kitten's cheek. When you take the first step along the path, you feel your feet gently sinking into the colorful sand. This sand is not prickly. It consists of tiny grains of frozen sunlight, and with every step you take, small sparks fly up like fireflies. The air here is special. It is thick, warm, and smells of baked apples with cinnamon. You take a deep, calm breath, and this fragrance fills you with warmth from the inside. Your shoulders slump, your arms become heavy, and you want to walk slowly, slowly, without hurrying anywhere. There is a huge willow castle in the middle of the forest. Its walls are woven from the flexible branches of weeping willows, which reach down to the ground, forming a living, swaying curtain. A large panda in a twilight-colored silk robe greets you at the entrance to the castle. His name is Cloud. He is very slow. His movements are smooth, like the movement of clouds on a windless day. The cloud holds out a soft paw and leads you inside. There, in the center of the main hall, there is no ceiling. Instead, a velvety night sky stretches across which moon jellyfish lazily float. They glow with a delicate turquoise light, and from time to time release long, thin threads that reach the ground and turn into lullabies. You're sitting on a huge cloud cushion. It takes the shape of your body, supporting every muscle. A cloud brings you a mug with a warm drink from the petals of a dream. You drink it in small sips, and with each sip, your body becomes more relaxed. First, the tips of the toes relax. You can feel the heaviness and peace rising higher to your calves and knees. Your feet feel warm and still, like they're made of soft wax. Then the stomach relaxes. The breathing becomes smooth, deep, and very calm. Your chest rises and falls steadily, like the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Panda Cloud begins to tell the story of a tiny dwarf who lived inside an old grandfather clock. This dwarf didn't wind up the clock. He just lubricated the gears with starlight oil to make time flow smoothly and gently. The dwarf liked to sit on a pendulum and swing left, right, left, right. You imagine this pendulum, and your eyelids start to feel heavy. They become so heavy as if they were covered with a small rose petal soaked in dew. It's very pleasant for you to keep your eyes closed. In the dark, calm, kind images begin to float before my eyes. You can see the flowers falling asleep in the forest clearing. The bluebells stopped ringing and pressed their petals tightly together. The daisies curled into white lumps. Even the restless squirrels in the hollows of the old oaks have covered themselves with their fluffy tails like warm scarves. The whole forest breathes in unison with you. Inhale, and the trees tilt slightly. Exhale, and they freeze in a deep sleep. You can feel your hands resting on the pillow. His hands, elbows, shoulders, everything became weightless and at the same time very heavy from drowsiness. Suddenly, you notice that the castle begins to rise slowly into the air. Willow branches turn into wings, and you fly over the sleeping earth. Silver rivers float by below, sleepy cities where lights go out one by one in the windows, and quiet seas in which whales sleep, making fountains of colorful dreams in their sleep. The flight is so smooth that you almost don't feel it. It's like mom or dad rocking you in their arms. You're completely safe. There is only silence, love, and the soft light of moon jellyfish around you. A cloud is whispering in your ear. Look, there, beyond the horizon, lives the sleepy queen. She weaves blankets out of the mist for all the children in the world. And indeed, you see a beautiful lady in a dress made of starlight. She takes a thin silver thread and traces it across the sky, leaving a trail that turns into the Milky Way. This thread touches your forehead, and all the last thoughts, all the worries and pictures of the day just dissolve, giving way to pure white silence. Your forehead smooths, your cheeks relax, your lips freeze in a slight, barely noticeable smile. You sink deeper into your cloud cushion. Now you can only hear the beating of your heart and the quiet whisper of the forest somewhere far below. The world around you has become tiny, and your inner world has become huge and cozy. You are ready to enter the gate behind which the most wonderful fairy tales begin, the ones that you will invent yourself in a dream. There you can walk on water, talk to birds, and build castles out of sunlight. Panda Cloud covers you with an invisible blanket of silence. He extinguishes the last candle in the castle, and only the stars continue their slow dance. 1. You fall into the soft darkness. 2. Your breathing has become quite imperceptible. 3. You are sleeping. You sleep deeply and sweetly until the morning. Are you comfortable? Can we continue our journey through the forest of dreams tomorrow? Or do you want to add one of your favorite toys to this tale? Imagine that right now, while you're listening to my voice, your room is slowly beginning to fill with a soft, barely noticeable lilac mist. This mist is not damp or cold. It looks like cotton candy that smells of warm milk and blackberries. It wraps around your shoulders, your arms, your legs, making them heavy and calm. And in this fog, the door to the fabulous city of sleepy lanterns opens. There is no asphalt in this city. All the streets are lined with soft, pressed moss tiles. You can walk on them completely silently. The houses here are unusual. They look like huge upside-down cups of tea with muted golden light streaming from the windows. The inhabitants of this city are little fuzzies. They look like winter hat pom-poms, but they have tiny paws and big, kind eyes that are always half closed, because fuzzies really like to nap. The main fuzzy, named Pussycat, meets you at the entrance. He is wearing a tiny robe made of peony petals. Pussykin does not speak loudly. His voice is a soft rustle of grass in the wind. He takes your hand, and you feel how soft and warm his palm is. You are walking along the main alley, and live lanterns are swinging over your heads. These are large night flowers with fireflies living inside. The fireflies slowly light up and go out in time with your breathing. Inhale, the flashlight lights up with a gentle amber light. Exhale, the flashlight goes out smoothly, leaving behind a pleasant semi-darkness. Your legs are getting lazy. Each step is given to you with pleasant difficulty, as if you are walking knee-deep in thick cherry jam. You just want to sit down and watch the fuzzies get ready for the night. Here is one of them combing his fur with a silver comb, and this sends sparks of calm flying in all directions. If such a spark falls on your forehead, you will immediately feel all the thoughts in your head fade away, becoming like the motionless surface of a forest lake. You are approaching a large fountain of forgotten worries. This fountain does not contain water, but liquid silver. Fuzzies come here in the evening to throw small stones into the water. These are all the things that hindered them during the day. A broken cup, a moody mood, or just fatigue. The pebble falls into the silver water, a gurgle, and disappears forever, turning into pure dream energy. You can also imagine taking all your daily thoughts and throwing them into this fountain. The water washes them away, leaving only a quiet, transparent joy in your soul. Pussykin leads you further to the library of fairy tales without end. There are books made of the finest silk on the shelves. There are no letters in these books, just pictures that come to life when you look at them. You open one book and see a huge whale floating across the sky with hundreds of balloons tied to its fins. The whale slowly waves its tail, and from this movement, a cool, soporific breeze spreads throughout the room. You can feel the breeze on your cheeks. He strokes your hair, closes your eyes and whispers, "It's okay. It's over. It's time to rest." A tree of eternal peace grows in the center of the city. Its branches are so long that they reach up to the very stars and gently tickle them, making the stars twinkle even more softly. Hammocks woven from the webs of moon spiders hang on the branches of this tree. Moon spiders are very kind. They weave their nets only to catch scary dreams in them and turn them into clouds. You lie down in one of these hammocks. It instantly takes the shape of your body. You can feel your back relaxing, the tension leaving your neck, and your arms becoming heavy and motionless, as if they were made of warm sand. The hammock begins to swing slowly to the left and to the right, to the left and to the right. This movement is so monotonous, so familiar, that your thoughts start to get confused and turn into colored spots. Podushikin sits down next to him and begins playing a small flute made from a reed stalk. The sound of the flute is so subtle and clear, it curls around you like an invisible ribbon, covering you with your head. You're getting very warm. Warmth in the tips of the toes, warmth in the knees, warmth in the palms. This warmth is like basking in the sun on the quietest summer afternoon, when even the grasshoppers in the grass have fallen silent so as not to disturb your peace. You can hear the clock striking somewhere far away in the main tower of the city, but they don't hit loudly, but dully, as if through a layer of cotton wool. Boom, boom, boom. With each stroke, you sink deeper into the soft, cozy darkness. There's nothing scary about this darkness. She looks like a velvet curtain in a theater, behind which the most beautiful performance will soon begin, your dream. You see the fuzzies turning off their flashlights one by one. The city is plunging into a gentle twilight. Pushikin covers you with a blanket made of fog and stardust. It's so light that you barely feel it, but it's so warm underneath that you don't even want to move your little finger. Your breathing becomes very shallow and shallow. You are floating on the river of sleep, and this river carries you to a magical land where you can fly, talk to dolphins, and build rainbow castles. Your eyes are tightly closed, and you really like this darkness. All the sounds of the room, all the thoughts about tomorrow are dissolved in it. There is only here and now. It's very cozy here. It's time for bed now. 1. Your body is completely relaxed. It's heavy and warm. 2. Your mind is as calm as the night sky. 3. You're falling asleep. Sleep, my little friend. The city of sleepy lanterns will guard your peace until the morning. Good night.